Lyndon, now this is 2 days later from when we inspected the hives. What are you going to do today?
Well, today we're going to go back in, probably take off about 16 frames and extract it for the hotel, which we'll leave here for them to give to their guests in little jars in the rooms.
Okay, well, let's get to it. Okay. Hope the bees are up. 7 o'clock in the morning they should be.
They should be, yeah. Let's go.
So, you found a new source of fuel for the smoker, have you, Lyndon?
Yes, I have, yes. I've forgotten my fuel and my scissors to cut up the hessian that I normally use. So I'm improvising, and I'm using some untreated cardboard. Seeing as we just need a little bit of smoke quickly, we've only got a few minutes work to do. But, cardboard's quite good if you're in a hurry. There's less mess. What I tend to do is, wherever I am, I use different fuels depending on where I am. Mm-hmm. And I tend to sort of just forage locally for whatever's around.
And you say you just roll it up and put it in the smoker as a wad, do you?
Roll it up, yeah. Set fire to it and just put the whole in. Mm. We'll get, probably half an hour out of that. Just wait for it to catch. Once the whole rolls alight, pop it in. There we go.
We have smoke. So you've opened this hive a couple of days ago, Lyndon, so you know there's basically a box of honey to take.
Yeah, I already knew. So I was here a couple of days ago just to do a bit of maintenance and see how they're going. So here we go. Now we're going to have to be pretty quick with this, because once you start robbing honey, the bees tend to follow it, and of course we don't want to be carting bees back through the hotel. Mm-hmm. I can see these two here are not capped, so I'm leaving them, and I'm going to the ones that I can see are fully capped already, starting here. This hive was extracted only a few weeks ago, so probably not, I don't know, that's probably not ready either actually, is it?
I think it would be okay if the others
think it's all right?
covered.
Yeah. Okay.
The honey is probably fully matured overnight.
It's pretty mature.
Yeah.
It's a lovely soft brush. This is got to be my favourite brush so far.
Mm-hmm. It's horsehair rather than plastic.
That's right. It doesn't do any damage to the bees. You can see it's very floppy.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you ever wet it beforehand, or you just use it dry?
I use it dry. What does wetting do?
I have heard it actually just a bit softer on the bees.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah.
There's always some little...
There is. Little one hiding in there.
And I guess it does clean the honey off it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give it a go and let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, miss. She's hiding, this one. There's always one, isn't there? There you go, she's gone. So what we've got to do now is get that in here quick before they get back onto it. See, I've already got one there.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do is I'll take a few more out ready as well. Get the lid back on so they can't get access. These up right there. There we go. No, not that one. I think this end one is a good candidate.
Commercially though, they don't worry.
No. The rule I was taught is if it's 2/3 capped, fully capped, it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell by the weight of this as well, and how fat it is that it's definitely ready. Mm. The other thing is you can actually shake it, and if anything spurts out, then that's still nectar. The course, professionally you'd have the refractometers that tell you the moisture content.
Oh yes.
Of course, the correct one being between 18 and 21%, depending on the honey type. A few little squash bees there.
And as you can see, the bees are getting a little bit more active.
They are, yeah. Now, of course, this isn't something they like, is it? You know, being manhandled and having their honey stolen. So we try and make it as quick as possible, just to minimise any disruption.
Although these are domesticated bees, and
they are.
Hopefully they're selected for allowing.
They've got a very good tolerant strain, so you can see they're still sitting there nicely. So they're not exactly going to be a danger to anybody. But on the other hand, you know, I still like to be kind to them. Putting my frames back in the middle. Going to the warmest. I'm going to leave the rest. I think I'd like them to fill it a bit more. Seeing as they've got some work to do on these as well, they can always borrow a little bit of honey if they need to draw it out. And following on your advice, Barry, there we go. I'm pushing that away from the side, like that, like that. So we've got some decent spacing. What do you think of that? Looks good?
Looks good.
Alright, let's go to the next one. Thank you, girls. I always say thanks as well. Really appreciate all their hard work.
And there's the frame that you put in a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that's right. Now, do you want to see how it's getting on?
Yeah, in 2 days it'd be interesting.
2 days. Now, let's just give a little bit of context. We're in the last month of summer. Is that right? 1 month to go.
1 month to go.
1 month to go.
Yeah.
And we put a frame in 2 days ago in the city. Look at that.
So this had foundation, but those cells have been built out.
They've been built out. They actually have nectar in them.
We have to be as quiet as possible so we don't wake the hotel guests.
So we're extracting in a registered kitchen. It's part of a hotel business, so we've got to make sure everything we do is top standard. This is a 5-star hotel, and our extraction has got to match that as well. So I've cleaned every surface, wash my hands. I'll wash my hands between everything I do and the towel drying with a paper towel. So we've just checked over the surfaces to make sure everything's sanitised with the correct sanitisers, and we're ready to go. I like to have a working triangle. So we've got the honey in the box, which comes over to the sink to be uncapped and then into the extractor. Everything's quite near, which minimises drips across the floor. Also, don't forget this has been outside. We don't want it to contaminate anything else. It's the first frame. Now I'm just using things which are not purpose made, just to show you can have anything at hand which works. This is just a very sharp knife I've got from home. I haven't heated it. Because it's a warm day and the cappings are still quite hot, we can use this and get the cappings off easily. Also, being a new frame helps. If it was old wax, you might want to use maybe a scraper. We're going to try this out as well. So I do one half at a time, starting at the bottom, and just angling my frame slightly forward. And we just do like a rocking motion, like this. You don't want to cut into the comb too deeply, it's just a matter of taking off the cappings, which I then wipe everything into the tray, like that. Any little dents, you can actually just probably scrape them off. You see they come off quite well. Okay. What I do now is I just turn it round the other way and do this half as well. If you've got a very long knife, of course, which is the ideal, you can do the whole lot in one go. You can see there's bits I'm missing which are more shallow, and I shall go over those afterwards. This little bit here. So just gently scrape off the cappings. I'm going to remove the bracing comb from the wood, first of all. And then do the other half.
And this is how you do it with yours, Lyndon, or?
I've got well, it depends where I am. Yeah. In some of the places I've got very big knives to use, and I can do the whole lot in one go. It's quite nice. I do like to cold uncap though, just my way of doing things. I found that the heated knives I had in the past got too hot sometimes, and maybe the honey was a bit scorched and you had melted wax mixed in. At least this way I know it's still retaining the raw properties.
Now I notice this kitchen is actually air conditioned. It's quite cool. Would you prefer a little bit warmer than?
Yeah, a little bit warmer. I like my kitchens to be quite hot. Honey's runs much better when it's warmer. And you'll be surprised, even though it's quite a hot day today, this will cool off quite quickly because it's in a shallow frame. And of course that'll slow down the filtering. See, this side here is very shallow, so I'm going to have to do a fair bit of scraping. Maybe I'll test out the scraper. What do you think?
Works reasonably well.
It works quite well, doesn't it?
It's convenient, as you say, to get into the ones that are a bit shallow.
But it's, like anything, if you're starting out, there's no point, I don't think, rushing in, getting loads of equipment. It's best to know why you need it. So,
and I guess you can use a fork or something like that.
You can use a fork, exactly right. I'm just going to put this on the paper here. That looks alright. So what I do, I'll put it in the extractor now, and I always, I tend to start with the thicker end towards my left. That's all right. and I put all the frames in that way, and that's so I know if they've been turned around or not. So we'll do one and then we'll go to the next one.
First side for 15
seconds, yeah. And the reason is you don't want to spin all the honey out completely because it will make it unevenly weighted and it could ruin your frame. So we just go around very gently, not too fast, until you start seeing the honey hit the sides. There it is.
So the centrifugal force pushes the honey out, just like a washing machine, the inside wall of the extractor.
I can't tell you how easy this is. I can just turn it with virtually one finger. This is a really good extractor. Okay, so I'm going to slow it down now. One of the things you have to really be careful with when extracting is that you're not pushing the wax into the side of the extractor. So that came out quite easily. So what I'm going to do now is turn it round. And now my fat end's on the other side. So this way I can keep track of which one I've turned around so I don't lose where I am. So now we'll go the other way.
See, what's the difference with the direction of rotation?
I don't think that means... what I was referring to is the other way in terms of the other side of the frame.
Ah, yes.
I actually don't know if the direction makes any difference.
Could be studied a PhD. So you go a little longer on that side, because there's not as much honey on the other side to push out.
That's right. I've got to be careful I don't go too hard again. I ended up disintegrating most of the wax last time.
Yes. One advantage of being a bit cooler, of course, is the wax is a little bit more solid, but then it's harder to get the honey out, which means you have to push harder, which means you damage the honeycomb more.
Let's have a little bit of that. Yeah, there's still a little bit in there, but I'll just give that one go right at the end. So I tend to turn one over twice. You can see, as I'm pulling the frames out, they're actually not stuck to the cage. Sometimes if you've gone really hard, they're stuck right against the cage here. They don't come out. Now these are coming out quite well. But if I show you up close, you can already see the lines from the metal in the
where it's
cage
been
on-
resting against
where it's been resting,
the basket.
That's right. So that's how it can get sort of pushed into the basket there. So they're pretty gentle with that. Okay, so I'll just check all my ends are now facing to the left, so I know I've turned each one around. And off we go.
And you can go a bit harder with this last one.
That's right.
Is this the last?
Second to last.
Yeah.
You can see it's getting a little bit wobbly.
It's about $900, I think.
That's right. It makes a difference though, if you get a good extractor. It really does. Now you'll see this one is actually just coming a little bit further into the side of the thing. But it still comes out quite easily, and we haven't got any holes, which is great. And now the last side I'm going to just take out the very last of the residue, going to go quite fast.
And now this is the last spin.
This is the last spin. It's quite a physical job. I mean, I'm actually holding this, you know, quite firmly.
Last one.
The last one, the very last one, the last side of the last batch. And there we go. All done.
All clean as a whistle, almost.
Almost.
Any
yeah.
honey that's left there is never wasted, so we'll get it again.
That'll go straight back into our foundation up there, hopefully.
So that's the cappings.
That's the cappings, and we can toss those in the strainer afterwards and let that strain for a few more.
So now all we've got to do is wash everything.
Wash it up, take it apart. So the cage comes out, nice neat sink. We're going to wash that in some hot soapy water. This comes apart.
You use hot water, do you, or rather than hot? Yeah,
Hot water, hot soapy water, and then it's rinsed and then air dried. Now this, I'm just waiting for a bit of honey to continue getting down into the filter here. There's a little bit more left to go.
So what have we got here?
An extractor. We've got the filter in here, so that's stopping all the wax from coming through. And all the honey's down here, and here is the honey gate. We open this up to see the fruits of our labour, or the bees, fruits of the bees' labour rather. And it comes.
There's going to be some there. And you're just collecting that in a food
safe bucket that I've placed in a metal lid, just to make sure it's not touching the floor. Normally you could put this on a low table. If your extractor's got legs on it, you can just slot a low table underneath with your bucket on top of that.
And we had about 12 frames, Lyndon?
Yes, 12 frames. Yeah,
and expecting to get how many kilos from that?
I think we'll probably get about 20 kilos, easily, yeah. So these are the cappings that have come off the frames, and I'm putting these into the filter, and that way we can get all the honey from those as well. And we get the wax back afterwards. End of the day, back on the trolley, back on the roof, back on the hives.
Okay, should take us 5 minutes.